Puerto Rico, a small island in the Caribbean, but with a history as grand and dramatic as empires themselves, a land once called Borikén by the Taino people, claimed by Columbus for Spain, a battleground of pirates, kings, and colonizers, later handed to the United States in the aftermath of war. For over 500 years, Puerto Rico has been at the crossroads of civilizations, its people carrying the weight of conquest, slavery, revolution, and resilience. Today, Puerto Rico is known as the Isla del Encanto, the Island of Enchantment. But its story is far deeper than beaches and salsa music. This is a story of survival, identity, and an unfinished debate over its future. Welcome to the entire history of Puerto Rico. Let's go back thousands of years, long before Columbus or Spain. The first people to arrive here were indigenous tribes migrating through the Caribbean. By around 1000 CE, the island was dominated by the Taíno people. They called the land Borikén, land of the brave Lord. This is where the word Boricua comes from, still proudly used by Puerto Ricans today. The Taino lived in well-organized villages, grew crops like cassava, corn, and sweet potatoes, and fished in the crystal waters. They played ball games, practiced rituals, and worshipped gods known as zimis, spirits connected to nature. Imagine a society full of art, music, and tradition. Peaceful, spiritual, yet vulnerable to the outside world. This was Puerto Rico before European contact. In 1493, on his second voyage across the Atlantic, Christopher Columbus arrived in Puerto Rico. Spain quickly claimed the island, renaming it San Juan Bautista. But here's a fun twist. Over time, the name of the port, Puerto Rico, meaning rich port, was swapped with the island itself. That's why today the island is called Puerto Rico, and its capital is San Juan. Spain realized Puerto Rico's strategic importance. It was a perfect military and trade outpost in the Caribbean. Massive fortresses like El Morro and San Cristobal were built to protect against pirates and rivals like England and the Netherlands. But for the Taino, this was the beginning of tragedy. Diseases brought by Europeans, forced labor under the encomienda system, and violence decimated their population. Within decades, their numbers collapsed. To fill the labor gap, Spain began bringing enslaved Africans, creating the foundation of Puerto Rico's Afro-Caribbean heritage. Puerto Rico became a hotspot of Caribbean drama. Pirates attacked constantly, drawn to its wealth and location. English privateer Francis Drake tried and failed to take San Juan in 1595. The Dutch burned it in 1625. But Spain held on. Life on the island was harsh for most. Enslaved Africans worked on sugar plantations, while criollos, people born on the island with Spanish ancestry, often lived under strict colonial control. Yet rebellion simmered. By the 1800s, Puerto Ricans began demanding reforms. Inspired by revolutions in Haiti, South America, and the United States, the call for freedom grew louder. In 1868, the Grito de Lares, Puerto Rico's first major uprising, exploded. Rebels declared the Republic of Puerto Rico, but Spain quickly crushed it. Still, it lit a flame that would never die. By the late 1800s, Spain's empire was crumbling. In 1897, Spain granted Puerto Rico limited autonomy. But just 1 year later, everything changed. The Spanish-American War broke out in 1898. U.S. forces invaded Puerto Rico and Spain surrendered. The Treaty of Paris handed Puerto Rico to the United States. Puerto Rico was no longer Spanish, but it wasn't independent either. Instead, it became a U.S. territory. This shift reshaped everything: politics, economy, and identity. Puerto Ricans were caught between cultures: Spanish heritage, Caribbean roots, and now American rule. In 1917, Puerto Ricans were granted U.S. citizenship. That same year, thousands of Puerto Ricans were drafted to fight in World War I. The 20th century was a time of massive transformation. In the 1940s, Operation Bootstrap aimed to modernize Puerto Rico's economy. Factories replaced farms, industries grew, and poverty declined. But there was a cost: mass migration. Hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans left for cities like New York, Chicago, and Orlando. Puerto Rico also got its own constitution in 1952, becoming a Commonwealth of the United States. This gave the island local self-government but not full sovereignty. Still, struggles remained: unemployment, inequality, and the constant question: what should Puerto Rico's future be? The 21st century has been a test of Puerto Rico's resilience. The island has faced economic crises, heavy debt, and migration waves. Then came Hurricane Maria in 2017, a disaster that devastated infrastructure, killed thousands, and exposed deep inequalities. Even in this mid-August 2025, Hurricane Erin rapidly intensified, becoming the first major storm of the season and reaching Category 5 before being downgraded to Category 3. The storm passed well north of Puerto Rico, bringing heavy rainfall, strong winds, and ocean swells, and causing power outages for over 159,000 customers. But Puerto Rico was spared a direct hit. As a result, the island avoided what could have been another devastating blow from this hurricane. The world watched as Puerto Ricans suffered, yet also witnessed their strength and unity. Meanwhile, political debates continue. Multiple referendums have asked Puerto Ricans: Commonwealth, statehood, or independence? In 2020, a majority voted for statehood, but the U.S. Congress has not acted. Puerto Rico today stands at a crossroads, part of the United States but not fully equal. Proud of its unique culture, yet struggling to define its political future. Puerto Rico's story is not just about conquest and struggle. It's about survival, identity, and pride. From the Taíno calling it Borikén, to the Spanish fortress walls, to the rhythm of salsa and reggaeton, Puerto Rico has woven every era of its history into its culture. It may be small in size, but its history is larger than life. A history of pirates and rebels, hurricanes and heroes, empires and dreams. And today, Puerto Rico continues to enchant the world, not just as a tropical paradise, but as a people still writing the next chapter of their story.